Guys, I'm back and we're here. We're only a couple of hours removed from the Texas A&M versus Miami game. Final score 17-9. All I can say is this here. Shout out to the 12th man for making that so special. As you can see on the cover page, it was approximately 107,000 plus in the building. The third largest crowd in, I believe, school history and in SEC history. Okay? So that game, look, college game day, sorry you couldn't be there. That's on you guys, and it is what it is. Alright? So let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about what happened in this game. We got the win. Okay? That was an electric atmosphere. Also, shout out to the Miami Hurricane fans for showing up. Those guys were deep in there. Okay? They were deep at Kyle Field. I saw an entire section that was dedicated to the Hurricanes on the first level. Alright? So, shout out to those guys. Shout out to Eric Crenshaw once again for inviting me to come and enjoy the game with him. And that was an experience. Just to let you guys know, if it's anybody that's watching this podcast, we were in the big Denali truck. It was a Denali. It was sitting all the way up. We couldn't fit in the parking garage, west garage. I'm going to be in contact with facilities on this one. That garage should be made way higher, you know, but it was an experience. Yes, I was at the game. I was there. I was in row 15, I believe, in section 116. That was an experience for the ages, man. And I just want to say, man, I really enjoyed myself a whole lot. Okay? So, you guys got to know that, hey, man, the 12th man, they done this job. They will never let you down. Okay? Even though we lost to App State, that doesn't mean anything about the next game that's going on. I told you, man, it's no hope that's lost for this season. It's none. None at all. My apologies to you guys for telling me that Haynes King wasn't going to be the starter come week 3. Alright? My apologies to you. I was wrong. You all were right. I have to accept that, and now we can keep moving along. What I will say about Max Johnson is this here. He is a true veteran, and he's mature. Okay? He's very mature. Even in the interview, when they interviewed him, he said this here that caught my whole attention. He was like, yeah, man, Jimbo, and he said, no, wait a minute. Coach Fisher, he fixed that real quick. That's maturity. Okay? That is the maturity. In this game here, no, we didn't see the offense that we wanted to see. However, we seen a very efficient offense, no turnovers. When you play efficient like that and your defense is playing lights out, you're going to get the win. Okay? Going forward, you won't be favored in every game. I can tell you this here, because you won't be favored in Alabama, and I know that for sure. However, Alabama knows that your defense is very well capable of being better than their defense. Alabama knows that your defense can come in and stop their offense. Alright? But we aren't to Alabama yet. We're not going to get caught looking ahead yet. We're going to take this thing one game at a time. Alright? So we just finished beating Miami. Let's talk about it. Jeremiah Gomez, what do I think about 3-man rush? We need to stop doing it. I have no clue why we're still rushing 3-man. That should be a 4-man rush and 2 linebackers blitzing, in which I'm going to tell you right now, if it's 4 D linemen rushing with those guys that we got, which are some young studs, and I'm going to get to it in a minute and tell you who all we were missing in that game, it's a lot of people that's in trouble. All right, so a lot of people are going to ridicule me for this. You guys remember when Kirby Smart first started at Georgia? That second, third year, it was all defense, that's the same route that A&M is starting to go. They're not going to have that historic defense that Georgia had last year. I did not say that. I said that A&M is starting to trend in that route. However, I won't be able to officially validate that until we see next game when Max Johnson gets his opportunity to play with Evan Stewart and Chris Marshall. That's that. Like this the only reason to why Max Johnson looked good, but he could have looked better. He wasn't terrible by all means, but we know that he didn't have the guys that he thought he was going to have. All right. Also, man, with this defense, it's a bend but don't break defense. They're going to give up some yards. They're going to give up some yards. However, they aren't going to give up any They're not going to give up many touchdowns, man. They just don't live that way. They don't. They just don't live that way. They live in the mindset of, we're not giving up nothing. We're not giving up nothing. All right, no. We're gonna make you beat us. So in that game alone, if you remember on the last podcast, I told you guys that this was going to be the keys to win. Number one that I hit with an emphasis was that they're going to have to make Tyler Van Dyke beat them by himself. What happened in this game? They made Tyler Van Dyke try to beat them by himself. Tyler Van Dyke was 21 out of 41 for 217 yards. 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They attacked the main goal, make Tyler Van Dyke beat us. If he can't beat us, make somebody else beat us. That was the nature of the defensive goal. That was how you was going to win this ball game. I had heard all 3 games, we're leading up to the 3rd game, about Tyler Van Dyke this, Tyler Van Dyke that. Okay, well show me. Show me. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Okay? So, this is the reason to why I say these things. Could it have been more scoring in this game? Yes. But I think because of the way the offense was doing, because the A&M offense only had 284 yards. I shot them up 20 yards. The A&M offense only had 264 yards. Am I fine with that? Hell no. However, the rushing yards, they finally had over 100 rushing yards in this game. All right? They finally hit the 100 mark. If your offense is only doing 264 yards and your defense is giving up 392 and still win the ball game 17-9, that lets you know a lot about where your team is going. If your team just lost to App State the week before and got clowned, humiliated all over the world because it made it all the way to CNN, and you come out the next week and lose 4 starters, 2 on offense, 2 on defense, and then not only that, you don't have Adelier, that's the defensive lineman. You don't have Walter Nolan, that's the defensive lineman. You lose Damani Richardson on the targeting. You lose the cornerback Brian George on targeting. And you still only give up 9 points. That lets everybody around the country know that A&M defense is for real. Oh, they might give up in yards. Oh, but we got to score in the red zone. Their red zone defense, I believe, is probably number 3 in the country right now. Our scoring defense is number 9. We're tied for number 9 with Alabama right now in scoring defense. Believe it or not. No, I'm sorry. I believe we're at number 3. Let me look at that. Nope, I'm not lying. We're tied for number 9 with Alabama for scoring defense right there. Right now. So, could nobody have told me that A&M was going to be in a world of scoring defense pretty much being the same the next year and losing everybody that we lost? I told you guys before the season started, though, that our defensive backfield was a more organized and veteran backfield more than anything. The problem is that I heard all season from the A&M players themselves saying that we have more depth than anything than when we even committed to the team 40 years ago. Okay? And that was coming from the veterans. The veterans told you this a couple of months back that, hey man, y'all really need to look at our depth chart. We're deep. This is the deepest we've ever been. What happened when Demond Richardson went out? Bryce Anderson, come on in. You up. What did Bryce do? He done the same thing Demond did. Stop everything. That young man will be the starter next year. That's already sealed in mark. I knew when Bryce Anderson committed that it was going to be problems. I wanted that young man. All right? I wanted him and I wanted Denver Harris. Those were the two prime targets so far as the defensive backfield is concerned. The problem is that we still haven't shown how deep we are. You guys remember Marquise Kilgrew? Well, let me remind you, he was the guy that flipped from Georgia and came over here with Smoke Bouye. Smoke Bouye was the one that decommitted and came. Smoke Bouye was suspended for this game too. Right now, Marquise Kilgrew is injured. Y'all haven't seen nothing yet, man. We're still coming. I respect Jimbo Fisher, and we're going to talk about that. I respect Jimbo Fisher for taking control of the reins and saying, you know what? Even if you wasn't at the party, you were missing from the room at curfew time, I'm going to get off work. I respect him for doing that because we haven't seen that type of disciplinary action for an entire group ever since I've been watching A&M in the SEC. That's a step in the right direction as a head coach to say, no, man, I don't give a damn how talented you guys are. I don't care. I'm going to suspend you for this now. Now, I mean, what I said, come back next game. I bet you won't be out during curfew hours again, will you? And I commend those young men for taking their punishment and still posting the team win and saying a team win. When we come back next week, oh boy, we going to be fired up. I seen that post from Evan Stewart. I seen that post from Smoke Bouye. I seen that post from Denver Harris. And I seen it from Chris Marshall. All four of those guys still stood by their team and took that disciplinary action and was like, all right, we'll take that. I heard a lot of guys say this here. Oh, all of them going to hit the transfer report. Why do y'all keep saying that? It's like you guys are trying to speak something into fruition. I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. This is what Ananias meant by everybody buying in. That game you just witnessed, that was an ugly game. That game was ugly. But everybody bought in. Everybody bought in. Even Haynes. He sat there. He bought in. All right? I'm here. It's fine. You know, it is what it is. So, with that being said, man, I see somebody say, man, I hope the discipline issues are over. Trust me, they are. Because of the simple fact of this here. Jimbo Fisher knew that the game was sold out, and it was a game that those guys wanted to witness. Because now what happens is that we aren't going to be back at home for an entire month. We're not going to be back at Kyle Field for a very long time. They missed that. They missed it. That was an absolute, how can I say this? That was an absolute thriller down in College Station with the ugly win. That crowd couldn't have been more into it than how they were on last night. That was from start to finish. Okay? And I say this once again, even Miami Hurricane fans stood up and applauded that crowd, that atmosphere. I'm hearing them now all over social media say, man, if we can't get that type of crowd, then I ain't coming to the game. That's a commendable crowd, man. Shout out to the student section. Shout out to all the alum. Everybody came out. Shout out to the people that made it from Florida. Shamar Stewart and his family. Shout out to all of them. Gabriel Brownlow Dindy and his family. Shout out to all of them. Everybody made the trip. Okay? So, let's keep going here. So, Shamar Stewart himself was all over that field. And when I say they were all over that field, I mean they were all over that field. Okay? They were all over everywhere. He was out there because that game was personal to him. I told people when this game came up, it was going to be personal to Shamar Stewart. I told you it was going to be personal. When is the Jerry World contract done? I think it's all the way until 2026 or 2027, one of those. But we still got a ways to go on that thing. The problem with Jerry World is this here. They split the two sides up, which is fine. But I do want to get a chance to experience A&M now, as opposed to where they were with Johnny Manziel, go to Arkansas already and play in that atmosphere, man. I want to really, really see that. I want to see that. All right. So this team here is going to be so special throughout the entire season. All right. And in that offense, man, like I said, look here with Max Johnson. And I heard him in the press conference, and we all saw this live, and we witnessed it and everything. Max Johnson took what the defense was giving him. He said, yeah, it was a couple of deep shots, but at the time I was about to throw it, it wasn't open anymore. So I went on ahead and I took the checkdowns. That's better. This is what you wanted to see from Haynes King. Unfortunately, Haynes King didn't give that to you. He didn't give that to me. I'm still behind both of those guys. Let me rephrase that. I'm still behind all three of those quarterbacks. And I'm behind Jimbo Fisher, man. I believe in him. I believe in him a whole lot, okay? And it's only up from here. This game solidifies something going forward, okay? Like I say, we'll get a better feel of how the offense will look next week when Chris Marshall and Evan Stewart goes back out there, okay? So we'll just have to sit back and wait on the judgment from that. You cannot judge this game when they only had Anais in A-Chain that he was just really throwing to. I believe you keep Brown, you have to get him more involved. You got to get him more involved in this offense. Okay? You got to. The tight ends. Donovan Green still looks good to me. However, I'm not sure of why the tight ends still aren't really as involved. I don't know if those guys are injured, or I don't know if he's trying to play something else. Forgive me, I'm flagging this gnat out the way. All of a sudden, this gnat wants to come and bug me because it knows I'm having a good time. You know? Get out of here. But, anywho, but Max is going to take what it gives. All right? And if he doesn't see anybody, then it is what it is. I like that about him. I like that about him. The only thing I said that was the difference between Max and Haynes King was that Haynes King was more electric. If he didn't see something, he was going to take off running. With Max, he's way more accurate. I told you guys that from the beginning. He's way more accurate. So if we're going by accuracy, Max is way more accurate. Max does have an NFL arm. For people that thinks he doesn't, they're just hating at this point, in my opinion. But Max Johnson does have an NFL arm, and he can sit in the NFL offense because it's essentially what Jimbo Fisher's running. This is nothing but NFL offense. Okay? And what's happening is that he's bringing kids in, but it's hard to do that when most of those kids aren't as talented as what you may think. So it's going to take them a while. Okay? And it is what it is. So Like I said, I believe Evan Stewart will change everybody's mindset eventually. I believe Chris Marshall will change everybody's mindset eventually. Noah Thomas, all those guys, you keep Ananias. I believe they'll change everybody's mind around. Chase Lane has to get more involved. Chase has to start making some catches. He has to. I understand his tight coverage, but if you're going to make it to the NFL, if you're going to get drafted, and even in the 5th, 6th, 7th round or whatever, Chase, you're gonna have to start stepping up and taking those catches, man. You're gonna cover. All right, it is what it is on that. They're going to cover, but you gotta start making those catches. Jalen Preston, you have to get better in route running. I'm not understanding what the issue is right there, but you have to get better in your routes. You have to get better on the break on balls, and you got to start getting open, man. You got to start getting open. All right. So another issue offensively is that I just don't think I just still don't think we're using all of our running backs like we should. I believe it's going to get better every game. Every game we're going to take a step better. But we still need to start using more of our running backs. We need to start seeing more of that. Because we can wear a team down. We can just wear them out. Yeah, just like an old offense, you know. Look, I'm not concerned about that. As long as it wins you games, then I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned at all. All right, I know we're stepping into SEC play, and everybody says that, oh man, we're gonna have to score some points. I do believe we will see this team score 31 points again. All right, I honestly believe that. I believe you'll see it next game. We just all have to be patient. Yeah, we've been waiting long enough. I know that part, but we just all have to be patient. All right, so we can only go so far as what the team takes us offensively. All right, so I would say the same thing too, and shout out to Jeremiah Gomez. I would say the same thing as well. And that's crazy because I did remember this. I believe this will be a 2019 season all over. This will be a 2019 season. Dominique Green, shout out to you as well. Shout out to everybody in the comments. All right, shout out to everybody. Wish we can get more live views in here, but that's okay. All right, we'll continue to grow and grow. All right. So the defense was the team. In my mind, I believe this will be a 2019 year, but that defense has set the tone for this entire season, in my opinion. We only played 3 games. We played App State, and we played Sam Houston State, and now Miami. That doesn't give you a whole lot to go off of. Doesn't give you a whole lot to be excited about. We now get to see what this team really is, and we get to see what this team identity will be going forward in SEC play next game. All right? We really get to see what's what. I believe that we've moved so many pieces around offensively to where it's hard to structure this team. It's hard to figure out the offense. And shout out to Dominique Green for saying it. The offense will improve with more game reps, a lot of new parts on that side of the ball. And that is true. That is true. What I'm amazed of is how good this defense has been playing with a young defensive line. That defensive line is young. That is young. The youngest one out there is Labius Overton, and he's playing like he's 20 years old. That young man is only 17 years old. For people that did not know this, Labius Overton, once again, is only 17 years old. What we need to see from that young defensive line right now that will really set the tone really hard is some sacks, man. It's some sacks. They got the Tyler Van Dykes a whole lot. Will Hicks stay committed? Who are you talking about? What Hicks? If you're talking about defensive lineman David Hicks, 2023 defensive lineman David Hicks, where did he commit to? If he committed to Oklahoma, then I was very unaware of this. He may have committed to Oklahoma. If he did, then you guys please let me know. He didn't commit to Oklahoma the last time I checked, but let me check now. Because if he did, then I think we can get him. It's just going to take a whole lot, but I do think we can get him if he did commit to Oklahoma. If he's not committed to Oklahoma, in which I saw Steve Wilfong say that David Hicks is thinking about making this decision way a lot earlier. From how the way DJ Durkin is playing this defensive line, where he's doing a pretty deep rotation, I like our chances with David Hicks. I believe he will end up committing to Texas A&M. And you got to understand that Texas A&M, Elijah Robinson, Terry Price, and a lot of those guys, including Jimbo Fisher, they've all been talking to DJ Hicks ever since like his sophomore year. They have a long relationship with him. So I see somebody saying, let's say we went out. You think we would be top 10 or in the top 5? If we went out in the SEC West, you're going to be like the number 5 or number 16 in the country. You know, depending on what Oklahoma and, you know, all those guys do. But if we went out and okay, so check this. If we win the SEC West, you're going to be pretty much ranked at number 5, number 6. That's just that, because you have to look at the impact of your schedule. Next week you have a top 10 team in the country. Are they a top 10 team? In my mind, they're not. All right, I'm going to be dead honest with you on that, because a lot of people don't think we're a top 25 team. That's fine with me. Arkansas is not a top 10 team. They're undefeated. They're not a top 10 team at all. Arkansas knows that as well. Sam Pittman, and they know that as well. What's tripping me out about Arkansas this year is their defense. The defense was nasty last year, but they had so many seniors on that team. And just really primarily on defense. So Arkansas defense this year, that's a very young defense. That is not a veteran defense. That defense is very young. It's not as young as our defense, but because of the simple fact of that we don't give up scores like that. This is the reason to why, although they don't want to respect us, they have to, because of what the defense is doing. Primarily being that young, so young, but still capable of making a lot of elite defensive plays. I don't want to say if, because I do believe that they will beat Arkansas next week. And that game there, man, that game couldn't have been more intense, like how it's going to be next Saturday night. And for whatever reason, they keep on giving us these Saturday night games. That's fine, and we're back on prime time on ESPN again. So hey, that's fine with me. College game day still doesn't want to come. They're going out there to Tennessee. Okay, cool, whatever. But they go out and they beat Arkansas next week. They will undoubtedly move into the top 15 for sure. Arkansas will fall to maybe like number 20, because the simple fact is that they're hanging on by a thread because of KJ Jefferson. If anybody is going to beat us, you have to make KJ beat you. All right, now their running game is phenomenal, and we know they are going to run the football. But if you shut down that running game and you just make only KJ beat you, I'm calling this right now, man. 24-17, Texas A&M. I'm calling that game right now. It's low scoring as you guys want to think this game may be, and I'll even put it even lower because our defense doesn't give up touchdowns like that. And I believe in this next game they still may just give up only one. I'm gonna go with 24-16. One offensive touchdown from Arkansas. 3 field goals from Arkansas. I can honestly say that. And you see how I kept it low scoring there. 24-16 Texas A&M. It's going to be an ugly game. You know, it's going to be a very, very ugly game. Arkansas is going to take some shots in this game. They're going to take some shots. They respect the pass defense, but they're going to take some shots to see if it's that real or not. Arkansas's defense, though, that's their weakness. That is basically their weakness. Their pass defense, I believe that game, A&M will get more established in the passing game and take advantage of that weakness. You have to. You have to already, man. You have to go out there and you have to dominate that pass defense. And I said the same thing last year about Ole Miss. And Ole Miss came out there and they got on our butts and they shut down the entire passing game. However, this year is much different. Very much different. Arkansas defense is ranked in the hundreds. You see where I'm going here? Ole Miss defense was ranked in the hundreds. You got to take advantage of that sloppy defense from Arkansas being ranked that low. They're very, very low. Now, their offense is what you have to make beat you. Of course you do, because the offense score points. But make them play only KJ. Make them put the game in KJ Jefferson's hands. Once you put KJ out of a rhythm, and it's third quarter, you're looking at that score, and Arkansas still has about 10 points or something to your 21. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I believe A&M can eventually start running it up. If they run up that score next week, then you will have everybody in the SEC, period, starting to come around and starting to say, okay, but this was the Texas A&M team that we expected to see. I'm serious, man. I'm dead serious about that. I am way serious on that. Okay. So once again, man, the identity now is the defense. We are a defensive-minded team. Crazy to say when you have a head coach that's an offense coordinator. Let's see what he does next Saturday when Evan Stewart and Chris Marshall are both on the lines. All right, we got Durkin. He knows the Ole Miss holds and defense. Yeah, he does. So a little bit on recruiting, and it was a really, really big recruiting weekend. Let me go to it, and I really want to tell you guys. I really want to show you guys who's all on that visit list. So David Hicks was at the game. 5-star defensive lineman, David Hicks. He was at the game. You know, just to let you guys know here. 5-star quarterback DJ Legway. He was at the game as well. And about a couple of hours ago, DJ Legway released his top team, and them make cut. All right, this was a day after his visit in College Station to check out the atmosphere, see if it's that real, see what's what. Hakeem Williams, 5-star wide receiver as well, I think number 19 nationally. He was also at the game, 2023. He's a 2023 wide receiver. He has the body build of Chris Marshall, and he has pretty much the catch radius of Chris Marshall. He's a possession wide receiver. He hardly ever drops the ball. All right, but this is a guy that we've been going after for a very long time, and he will be making his commitment on next Saturday. My prediction for him right now, I believe we land 5-star wide receiver Hakeem Williams from out of Florida. I believe he's from Miami, Florida, if I'm not mistaken. I believe we land him, and we land him big time. Another guy that was there that's already committed elsewhere to Alabama is Tony Mitchell, 5-star defensive back Tony Mitchell. He was there as well. I think because of him and Bobby Taylor's connection with one another, and from what he's seen out of that defensive backfield, and knowing that defensive backfield leans on one another, if one man goes down, another one or another two steps up, that's intriguing Tony Mitchell a whole lot. Understand this, he will be at that Alabama versus Texas A&M game. For sure. If Texas A&M goes there and they beat them in a close score, expect for Tony Mitchell to flip. I'm calling that now. I know what I'm talking about on that. I've seen what I needed to see big time. Expect for Tony Mitchell to flip. And when he flips, expect for him to bring at least one more person from out that Alabama hood. All right, because at the end of the day, Alabama will land the #1 recruit class for 2023 3. I know that for sure. But Texas A&M can get in top 2 when it's all said and done. They just need the right pieces to fall in there. We got T.J. Shanahan, which was a good pickup. But now it's on to more. If we get DJ Hicks and Tony Mitchell, man, you can call that top 10 class for me. For sure. Right now, Jonte Cook, haven't heard from him on Twitter ever since this win. He's trying to flip Anthony Hill. Anthony Hill isn't going anywhere, especially from what he's seen, that defensive performance last night. He ain't going anywhere. He ain't going anywhere at all. You can go ahead and shoot that on out the books. If I don't know any better, if A&M wins out, SEC, you can expect Jonte Cook to flip as well. He ain't going to do it. He ain't going to flip because he didn't say too many things about A&M that there's a lot of guys in the locker room that's just going to look shocked. They'll get over it, and they'll welcome him in with open arms. All right, so before I get out of here, please, guys, make sure you subscribe to the page. Make sure that you share, post, like, continue to make comments, and continue to get this podcast out there, okay? So, I don't believe Ruben Owens was in attendance for this game. Zachariah Branch, he wasn't in attendance for this game. Where do we see that with Zachariah Branch right now? As of right now, he's plugged into USC. We still have the potential to flip him. It's a 50-50 shot at flipping him, though. Like I said, it depends on what this offense will continue to give out. Peyton Boyd, I expect to see him flip from Notre Dame. I like where we stand with him. We can get him. Mark Snyder, listen to you guys. Hold on before I keep going forward. Mark Snyder, listen to you guys. Would you stop? We lost to App State last week. We barely beat Miami today. We still have no O-line, and y'all are talking about winning out. Respect us. Mark Snyder, what do you want us to say? Because you tell me. I'm curious on what you want me to say. We can win out with defense. You can actually win out in defense. You know that, right? I have seen it done before. You know that, right? I've witnessed Georgia do it in the current era when it's all offense, that you guys love to say, in which you got to stop saying that we just need all offense and you act like it's just you don't need any defense. I'm not understanding that part. We have no O-line. I'm confused on what you're talking about right there because the O-line was decent. I don't know if you're looking for an elite O-line or what. But if you're going to say that, Alabama had no O-line last year and they still won it. What are you talking about? Now, this is from one Aggie to another. You need to start looking at other things. Yeah, we lost to App State, but you don't let App State hinder your mind of thinking. Okay, we lost to App State. You get rid of that. Keep going. Why are you still thinking about that? I don't think about the loss that we got. I think about moving forward. And that's what we done in this game. We moved forward. That's the reason to why we won the game. We went forward. You don't look back to App State and say, oh, well, yeah, man, we won this game, but we still lost to App State. That doesn't mean anything. App State is in the past, so that's where you leave it at. You leave App State in the past. Don't move along with the media and make the media correct about what they're doing. Because it's not right. Okay? I'm going to say that to you. This from one Aggie to another. It's not right. You can win with defense. This is still a defensive game here. Don't let that offense fool you. It's not just all about the offense. How did Alabama win against Texas last week? The defense. They gave up a lot of plays, but the defense made the stops when they had to. That's defense. You got to have some defense. You got to have some. We lost to App State because of the simple fact that we didn't have no time of possession. That's just that. We didn't have no offense to do anything. That's just that. We get into this game, Max Johnson's first start. He was decent. Wasn't great ball means, he was decent. But he played like a veteran. His mindset was on winning the ball game. No matter what the outcome may have been. No matter how many points we scored. We need to win. That's what you do, regardless if it's a barely win or not, man. You still beat a Miami team that they hyped up all season. You still held a quarterback back down to a standard that he knows isn't right, in which they're projecting him in the first round. You just made him look like a 6th round. So I don't know what you want us to say after a win. Does it need to be better? Hell yeah. But what else do you want us to harp about? We know the offense didn't look good. What else do you want us to say? Fire Jimbo Fisher? Because if you're thinking that that's what we need to do, then I'm going to tell you right now, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. Does he need to give up most of his play calling? Yes. But I'm not going to sit here and talk about that. We got to win. We're going to keep moving forward. And we're going to possibly land the number 3 wide receiver in the 2023 class to come and help out another class of wide receivers that look damn good. What do you want us to say, man? What? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So, see Dominic Green here. King had more passing yards than Alabama quarterback after that loss. West Coast offenses haven't been lighting it up. And they haven't. They haven't. Also, you just had a very talented defensive freshman class come in there and literally win you the ball game. Under the lights. That was under the most pressure that they've ever been in 3 games. In their high school careers. Under the biggest crowd that they'll ever see. Because when you go to the NFL, and ain't no such thing as 100,000 anymore. It's more of 79 to 80,000. That is it. So once again, what do you want us to talk about, man? What is it? What is it? They need to get better. They do. I don't understand what else you want me to say. Let Colin Wingman start. So, I mean, that's it. It's all love, though, man. It's all love. Like I said, it's one action to another. It's all love. You know, love you, baby. Hashtag Gigem. We're going to be here, man. We're going to be here together. We're going to agree to disagree on a lot of things. But at the end of the day, we're going to stay tightly knit because we're Aggie fans. That's just that. And we love our Aggies. That's just that. All right. So, also here, man, we just have to keep going. We got to keep going. We got Arkansas next week. Top 10 team under the lights. Once again. And that ain't nothing. They're going to put us under the lights probably against Mississippi State as well. All right. So, we just got to get better on it. We got to get better on it, man. So, once again, that's all I have for you guys. I thank all of you for tuning in. Catch you on the show tomorrow. Hashtag Gigem.